The year was 721 BT. The Ashen Kingdom, crippled by constant raids from the barbarian hordes, mobilized all of its porco population to rid the nation of this plague that has ruined the lives of so many living. Piglets losing fathers and mothers, mothers grieving over the death of so many sons and husbands, siblings lost to the wind. General Strongtusk led the army through the streets, mobilizing the largest army the Ashen Kingdom has ever seen. This documentary is the story of those brave porcos that would soon become known as the First Legion. With the armies of the Ashen Kingdom gathered, the First Legion began their long and dangerous march. Upon reaching the outskirts of the barbarian camp, the First Legion began the preparations for the inevitable battle. Scouts were sent to the barbarian camp to acquire detailed information about the layout of the camp and the troop strength of the barbarian horde. Upon seeing the city of tents, the scouts began to fear that they would not be able to secure victory against the barbarians. With the plan devised, the battle began, with the melee troops approaching first. The battle began, and the ranged troops and the melee troops began to approach the camp. With the melee troops being delayed, the actual ranged troops were able to outrun and outpace their melee counterparts. This led General Strongtusk into a dangerous situation, not sure if his melee troops would be able to make it to the battle in time. Upon seeing the barbarian army holding in the camp, he had nothing that he could do except begin the assault. As the ranged troops opened fire, many of the barbarians were cut down as they slept in their tents. The battle was intense. The melee troops were able to flank in and kill all of the remaining troops that were unable to withstand the bombarding effects of General Strongtusk's ranged troops. With many of his troops fallen in the battle, General Strongtusk could not hold his troops back as they began to kill the women and children of the barbarian camp. Enemies were defeated. General Strongtusk could do nothing as his army looted the camped city. Many of the women and children, as they came out of their tents to see what had happened to their fathers, husbands, brothers, looked in horror as the First Legion came and slaughtered them as well, to get revenge for all those men that were lost. Many of the women and children in the barbarian camp were not spared. Upon looting and ravaging, many of the children of the fathers who died defending the camp, who had plundered the First Legion's homes, lay dead. General Strongtusk was remembered saying, "The Porco gods will look down on this day with disgust and horror for the atrocities that were committed." Of course, the king of the Ashen Empire did not want these things to be brought to light, and of course he made sure that General Strongtusk did not mention any of these things, that or any of the atrocities that were committed in the camp where so many of the barbarian women and children were slain. Those atrocities would be taken to the grave of many of those porcos that fought in the First Legion, never to be discussed with their friends, family, or in the taverns in which they would frequently, as they drank their sorrows away upon for the atrocities they had committed. With the armies of the Ashen Kingdom gathered, the First Legion began their long and dangerous march through the jungles. Sickened with disease and all manners of ailments, the army continued to move southward. Upon reaching the outskirts of the barbarian camp, the First Legion began the preparations for the inevitable battle.